But as promised, we have Vibha Padalkar of HDFC Life who joins in, and it's been a good quarter for them. Vibha, thanks for being with us. HDFC Life has shown a healthy 22% growth in the value of new businesses, and the insurer is now more confident of ending FY21 on a positive note. So Vibha, tell us first to just get a sense on growth itself. How has business been in October so far? Can we now clearly say that FY21 will be a growth year? And if yes, what kind of growth are you expecting?
Little bit difficult to predict given what we're seeing in, say, Europe on whether COVID is likely to rebound and post-festive season and so on. If I were to look at the private sector de-grew by about 11%, while we grew about 2%. And so private sector ending close to 0% would be a good place to be towards the end of the year. And we will comfortably beat the private sector is certainly what I can say at this point in time.
Okay, your EV growth is around 16% YOY. Can we expect this to rise to say 20% by the year end? And then on the operating return on the EV, should we again expect 20%? At the moment, what? It's 17.5%?
I don't see that going up to 20 because if you look at the unwind, so while NBMs have been strong, you'll agree at 25.1%, and hopefully we'll continue to inch up on the margins. But the unwind rate is, we don't have a control on what is a risk-free rate, and that unwind is restricted to whatever that rate is. And without that rate being a lot higher than what it is today, mathematically, I don't see how you'll get to a 20% kind of a growth.
Okay. You've added Yes Bank as a bank assurance partner, and Max Life and LIC also have tie-ups with Yes Bank. So do you end up with a slice of the pie?
Yes, I think we are increasingly moving towards multi-tie, and that's really the shape of things to come. And we are very comfortable working in a multi-tie environment, wherein one has to give the best value to both the customer as well as one's partner. And that's where I think that the percentages, you mentioned Yes Bank, it will settle down at a certain percentage, and very much attuned to working in that environment.
Okay, you have upped the business promotion expenses this quarter. Anything specific? What are the expectations from the distribution business also being expanded alongside?
So it's a combination. First quarter, just given sensitivities to what people were going through, we didn't do a lot of ad spend, so there's a little bit of catch up on that front. So we did that. We also stepped up visibility on our term products. We stepped up visibility on the other end of the spectrum of longevity protection, which is our annuity business, my first salary after retirement. We also, given our that digital is very topical, we also increased our digital marketing spends. And fourthly, we also increased in terms of our branding. And this is again to your earlier question on multi-tie situation, wherein branding becomes even more important to be very much top of the mind recall to your customers who say walk into branches. So it was four-pronged and a little bit of catch-up. So one has to look at it on a year-to-date basis in the first half of the year.
Yes, I guess when agents could not physically meet, you have to up promotion expenses. Okay, now has credit assurance seen any uptick? Do you expect to pick up in the festive season? Your associated entities have rolled out a lot of offers.
Yes, overall, not just the sister arm, but also parent, wherein a lot of our senior partners and well-run partners are coming close to normalcy in terms of their disbursements. And if you were to look at it quarter on quarter, in first quarter of last year, first quarter of this year versus last year, we degrew about 74%. In second quarter, we degrew 36%, and hence on an H1 basis, we degrew by 53%. So sequentially, we are getting better, and we expect to end this year, to your question, very close to where we were last year, wiping out all degrowth in the credit life. So yes, I think each quarter as we progress, the outlook is getting better on.
Okay. IRDA, the regulator, has asked for a standard product, Saral Jeevan Bima, to be launched. Now, what do we mean by a standard product? Will it have a uniform price? And what impact can that have on your other business? Will the lien of 45 days help, etc.?
So, yes to most of your questions, wherein, yes, there is a 45-day waiting period. No, there is no standard pricing, unlike in the PMJJBY kind of a product. So, it is a fully underwritten product. So, gives us the flexibility to be able to define what are our own board-approved underwriting standards. We are reasonably happy with this because really our plain vanilla product is very similar to this, except that there is no lien in our plain vanilla product. This gives us the opportunity, and that opportunity is very important because it allows us to weed out any anti-selection and really protect the average person who is today unprotected but wants to dip his or her toes by buying some level of insurance cover, at least up to 25 lakhs. So yes, we are reasonably happy that somebody who thinks this is a complicated product, I don't know I can't compare this with companies and so on. Let's start off simple, Saral, and let's at least start onboarding people to buy more and more term insurance. So from that point of view, we welcome this move.
Yeah, but since you're saying the price is not the same, won't it get confusing having Saral Bima from different insurers which are priced differently? And what if some player decides to say go for only digital sales at a very low price? I mean, can this be a source of undercutting?
That's always possible. One can play the top line game, but it can only be done for some finite amount of time. The reason why pricing will be different is because of underwriting is different. Somebody might say, I will really be very, very careful on underwriting, and then I will only then will I onboard. So I might end up onboarding 1/10 my peer groups kind of customers, but I'm able to give a low pricing because I've a very solid underwriting. Somebody else might throw caution to the winds, like you said, and have a higher pricing but very relaxed on underwriting. So that's the kind of X and Y axis of that whole proposition. And we actually welcome that the pricing is not a regulated pricing, but at the same time, yes, the customer can choose as he can choose today as well. Today as well, there are enough term policies, and he is free to choose based on what kind of cover, who is asking what question, who is asking for what level of medicals, and so on. What is the brand promise? What is the digital journey what is the claims repudiation ratio, and so on. So it's not very different to what we have today.
Okay, no, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. You will still go for your comfort insurance provider. Now, the other question I have is that we've seen health insurance do very well. It's a different strong growth. How are you approaching the term plus health insurance segment?
We are very, very gung-ho about it. Unfortunately, we are not allowed to sell indemnity products, the standalone health indemnity. But the next best thing is that for us to be able to sell a combination products. So we have a Corona product. We've just got the approval on the health indemnity space, and we will offer this to whoever wants to buy this product. So we are fairly optimistic in this space.
All right, Vibha, it was a pleasure speaking with you. The market is celebrating the performance of the second quarter numbers. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, so that's this story from the health insurance space. Actually, it was not just HDFC Life and SBI Life and other stocks were doing reasonably well. But at the moment, it's tech which is up and away.
Tech is clearly leading the market now.